Hit record, John.
Sweet, recording away.
So I've been displaced because it's Penelope's birthday, so she's 14, and they're all having cake downstairs. So I've had to do this in my bedroom.
Oh, you've been sent out the way. You're not allowed in.
Nope. I can't really send them out, so I have to move, which is a better one.
I'm not stopping you from getting birthday cake, am I?
No, I've had the birthday cake. We had key lime pie.
This is the Sheer Isolation podcast. It's presented by Kieran Moore and Jon Ponting. Welcome one and all again. Thank you for listening to us. You are tuned in to the Sheer Isolation podcast with myself, Jon Ponting, and my friend Kieran Moore over there in Trowbridge. How are we doing, Kieran?
I'm very good. How are you, John?
Yeah, I'm happy, which is unusual for me. I don't know why.
You're happy, which is unusual for you. You're never miserable, John.
So people tell me, yes. Yeah, well, we'll go with that. For people who've not joined us or listened to us before, the Sheer Isolation podcast is designed to promote and encourage local music across the Southwest. Every week we have a guest on who's connected in some way, either to the local music scene or through Kieran's massive file of contacts that he has, thousands and thousands of contacts in his phone, or Rolodex, whatever he uses. I like to think you're a Rolodex man.
I definitely am a Rolodex man. The thing is, right, so let's just say there's a power cut, yeah, and you lose your computer and your hard drive gets corrupted and dies. Haha, joke's on you, because I've got my paper manual. I just whip out my card. There it is.
So yeah, I knew it. What we're going to do now, I mean, we're going back to an interview that we recorded a little while ago with Bristol music celebrity Big Jeff. We kind of recorded it as a double-parter, and we keep meaning to put out the second part, and other things have kind of got in the way, and we've had other guests come along, and we just thought we'll have Big Jeff next week. We'll do it next. So this week is the week we're going to go back to the second part of the Big Jeff interview.
He just gave us so much content, didn't he? He was just wonderful to listen to and talk to.
And for people who aren't familiar with Big Jeff, he is he's big and his name's Jeff and he's in Bristol.
He's a stalwart of the Bristol scene, and everybody in Bristol knows Big Jeff. You haven't made it until Big Jeff has been to one of your shows.
Well, not just Bristol. International acts who play in Bristol expect to see him. That is how you know you've made it, when Big Jeff turns up at your gig.
Beans on Toast wrote a song about it. Everyone knows Big Jeff.
So yeah, that's coming up later on in the show.
What a week it's been, John.
Well, I was going to say that the week started off like very optimistic. I was looking on various venues' websites, and there's all kinds of gigs appearing in places like Level 3 in Swindon and Cheese and Graham and Froome. They're all getting the venues back up and running, getting some live music in. And now we've got this new 6-person limit. How does that apply to venues?
The good news is it shouldn't actually affect venues. If you did your COVID risk assessments, etc., you have a capacity. In theory, you should have been enforcing the social distancing and bubbles. So I believe that this bubble, was it law of 6 or rule of 6? This rule of 6 that the government have announced really is more of a case of applying it to places like restaurants and outside parks, etc., and the police will be enforcing it. So in theory, if you buy a ticket to the Glakota in Bristol, for example, you're going to be forced to sit in your bubble anyway, so it shouldn't affect you. So with any luck, they can all still go ahead. More sad news. Milk Teeth have called it a day. They've split up. They were local, weren't they? Because they were originally from Stroud as musicians, and then they relocated to Bristol. So they're a proper Southwest, this area band. They got signed to a major label. They signed to Roadrunner, didn't they? They had, really high-profile tours and album releases, and they were on TV and et cetera, and they were doing really well. I had no idea that this was coming, so I'm really sad to hear that they've split up too.
Was there a reason for why they split up?
No, I think they've just called it a day. Perhaps, I don't know the exact ins and outs, but that's our first song this week. We've chosen a Milk Teeth song to celebrate Milk Teeth, because they were a Southwest band who managed to escape out of this area and get bigger than the Southwest, go international. So I was really proud to put them on, and I thought they were a great band as well.
There is nowhere bigger than the Southwest, Kieran. We are the world.
We have our own flag and everything.
We've picked the track Better.
Better, yes. I chose this track because It's not too rah for the radio.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, it's one of the latter end songs towards the end of their career. So it's a really sort of focused 2.5 minutes of power pop rock. To me, it's a really good song, so I really enjoyed it. So this is Milk Teeth.
That track is Better by local band Milk Teeth, who have sadly announced in the last week that they are to be no more.
They're no longer a local band. They're an ex-local band. They're an local ex-band.
They're an ex-band in total now, so... But it's a success story. As I said earlier, they went from small beginnings in Stroud into Bristol.
Humble
and then
beginnings
beyond.
To big acclaim and international exposure. And I should imagine that was a bit of a dream for them. They toured with some huge bands like Enter Shikari. They played some amazing venues, and they have some great records in their catalogue now. Perhaps it was their time. You know, not all bands last forever. It was their time. So
it would be weird if bands did last forever, and nothing new would come along. Right, in that case, it is time for us to hand over to our interview. Now, as we said earlier on in the show, we're doing the second of a two-parter, which we recorded a little while ago with Bristol, I want to say celebrity, but he wouldn't call himself that, but Bristol's music fan, Big Jeff.
He is. He's a local celebrity.
He's very humble for it, though.
He is very humble for it. And I want to be as humble as him once I've been doing music as long as he has. He's not that much older than me, actually.
I was just thinking, no, we're about the same age, right?
Because obviously you go to so many gigs. You must have seen so many bands on that circuit when they first hit the UK before they get massive. Is there anyone particularly that stands out for you that you can think of offhand?
Yeah, I mean, like Fleet Foxes and Beach House did a co-headline show at the Louis.
Wow.
That was freaking special. That was literally like one of those kind of like blue lit, like kind of like this little like I mean touch paper sort of thing.
Yeah.
I saw Muse back in 1998 supporting Kay at the Gloucester Guildhall.
Yeah.
You know, like, but I'm also, but I mean, like, I've always had this thing where I've seen certain acts and I've got a stomach, like, had a stomach reaction. I just, you know, like an instinct that they were going to be big, sort of thing. I mean, even going back to my first ever gig, which was East 17 in Newport Gwent Stadium.
No way.
Yeah, it was great. It was like they were headlining like a boy band all day. It's like GWR festival. So like Saturday was like the rock day, like Friday was the rock day. Saturday was like the boy band kind of pop day sort of thing. And yeah, we went. Yeah, it was East 17 headlining with Michelle Gale, Pate Banton.
Oh, crikey.
Yeah, this is how 90s it was. This was 1994 when I was 11 years old.
Amazing.
Craig McLaughlin, he used to be Henry Mangle in Neighbours. but lower down the bill was Peter Andre.
No.
And the Backstreet Boys.
No, before they released Mysterious Girl.
Yeah, before he released Mysterious Girl. A long time before that. And then also before Backstreet Boys break through as well. I mean, people forget about like how hard some of these acts did actually work.
Of course.
I mean, like, we can laugh at it, but then, like, you know, things like Backstreet Boys now, you just look at how, like, they'd fill out stadiums.
Yeah, and they go from a performance to an interview to an interview to an interview to a performance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How do you remember 20 years worth of gigs, considering you go to a gig pretty much every night? How does it all fit in your brain? Or do you write it down?
Well, the stuff which really sticks for me is this stuff which has moved me in certain ways. So whether it's like going to see like my first rock gig, which was Skunk Anansie at Ashton Court Festival in 1995, which I inadvertently went to because of like I was supposed to be meeting up with my mum and my sister who like kind of driving me back home because I lived in the middle of Gloucestershire at the time. Yeah, they went to impress. I managed to get lost and found myself kind of in the audience watching Skunk Anansie.
Excellent.
It's like the car drive home was basically like both of them semi drawing daggers at me. Whilst I was like, she had a powerful voice, didn't she, Mum? She had a power voice, didn't she, Mum? For like 45 minutes.
Yeah, I swear to God, there is a book in you. There is a book that people would love to read about the things that you've seen and done.
Some of the things which I have experienced, and some of the things which have been brilliant, and some of the things which I have experienced which have been, quite frankly, awful. Macaulay Culkin's Pizza Underground.
Oh, they played The Fleece, didn't they?
No, they played Thekla
Thekla.
or Dr. Dutt.
Wow.
And it was, yeah. It was
I had
awful.
a friend who went to that and said it was terrible.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was still like entertainingly terrible. But that could be actually saved for that, actually how bad they really were.
Oh, no. Oh.
It was like, think of the worst, like, kind of pizza-related puns you could squeeze into Velvet Underground songs.
For 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, but then, like, they kind of slightly broke it up by having their manager come and give a really weird Nirvana tribute, which was like, what? Okay.
Oh,
but the thing which made it even worse was the fact that half of them were paying pizza boxes. It was like one of those things where it's like, okay. It was like generally, like kind of quite awful.
I want to just pick your brains on a band, right? Because this is a band that I think Bristol have forgotten existed, but they're probably my favourite band to come out of Bristol. And I'm hoping you remember them. But can you remember a band called Safety Word?
Yes, great band. Safety Word were great because Steve Garrison, their guitarist, I think he's still around doing stuff. I mean, I know that. Yeah, so he joined Zundanegri for quite a while. But the Safety Word were a fantastic band.
I was chatting to Invader Records. I was chatting to Jeff at Invader, and I said they were my favorite. And he didn't even know who they were. And I was like, no, I'm sure you would have loved them if you'd have known.
Yeah, I would have. they were like one of those brilliantly wonky kind of prog pop bands. Because it was like properly interesting, but intricate prog music.
Really,
but also with like pop, like kind of song structures.
Yeah.
I mean, they used to play a lot of the stuff with like kind of, I guess, like the Junction and that sort of thing. I mean, so I used to see them a lot in that. I used to see them, at the Crofts or the Louisiana.
Yes, yeah. They played for me like a dozen times. I gave them so many gigs. I was obsessed with them.
They were a freaking great band.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's like, especially when they do like Wrap My Home.
Yeah.
Wrap My Home. It's also 3-part harmonies as well.
Yes, but like you say, that really intricacy, mathy element, like really early folds, like guitar work.
Yeah.
They would sing about random stuff like the plague and like foot ovens and witches and stuff.
Yeah.
Really bizarre. So is there anybody you haven't seen live that you would like to?
Yeah. There's a band called the Uranium Club, who I really, really like, who are on like who are part of Static Shock Records.
Yeah.
And they've just released 2 or 3 really cracking records, but the reason why they don't really tend to tour the UK.
Right.
They might come over for like Static Shock Fest and then head back, sort of thing.
But they don't tour.
Yeah, they've just released, they've been like Le Savvy Fav sort of thing.
Oh,
they've released.
I love that band so much.
Same here. They are the best post-punk band.
Absolutely, 100%, without a shadow of a doubt. They're playing Barcelona next year, and I'm
doing that again.
Are you going?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Chris TT down. We're going to get a car and we're just going to drive down. So should we get a bus? Do you want to come with us? We just get a bus.
Yeah, I'll definitely get the bus. I'll definitely get the Savvy Fab Happy Party bus.
We're hiring a bus now, John. This is escalating.
It's escalating very quickly.
I've seen the Savvy Fab live, and it was literally in my top 2 or 3 gigs of all time.
Same here. Absolutely blew me away.
Can I just ask how you've been coping this year, particularly going through lockdown? Because obviously you've got no gigs to go to. So what are you doing with yourself? Are you watching live streams, or are you doing other things in your evenings?
I've been watching a lot of live streams. I mean, obviously, like the past week or so, I've been down in my parents'. I'm in my parents' flat at the moment. So I'm currently in my bedroom. But usually around about now, I would be like searching out live streams to watch, sort of thing. And yeah, that's definitely helped to some extent. But it has felt weird. Like usually most Tuesday nights, I'd be watching like the specialist subject live streams, or like I'll be watching all sorts of things really. One thing which I really miss out on is everything around the gigs, not just so much the band's playing. Like this weekend, I was watching some of the sets from Glastonbury on years gone by, and which like on Sunday they had one of my all-time favourite headline slots, which was David Bowie.
Cool.
And I was there, and I was there in the audience for that when I was 17 years old.
That's something special. That was.
Yeah, it was really special. I mean, like, I was having goosebumps even watching it on the TV. It was just like having like, especially when he burst into playing like stuff like All the Young Dudes. I was literally, I could feel tears rolling out my eyes, and like kind of, yeah, and I feel like kind of like a lump in my throat kind of growing up, sort of thing, coming up, and it's like, wow, okay, this is really, really, really quite something.
Quite something.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is that, I mean, like, it's like, how often do you see headliner, like, especially end up on his knees, sort of thing, at the end of the set, almost like kind of sobbing in tears, sort of thing. It's like, wow.
What an encyclopedic brain for music.
He can do what I can't, and he remembers everything. I don't know how he does it, because there is so much there. There is so much, and he remembers everything. And he's really good with dates as well. He can tell you what years stuff happened. So I'm immensely jealous on so many levels. Yeah. So last Friday, I'm in Chippenham. It's market day. The falafels are out, and the falafels are being cooked. And I love falafels. So I'm with these guys at Falafel, and I get a ping on my phone, and it's a friend of mine sending me a job saying, do you know anybody interested in this job? I've got a person exactly in mind for this. I ring up Sam. I say, Sam. So I rang Sam. I said, Sam, I've got this job. Would you be interested? So Sam very politely turned me down. But then he told me that Jed Elliot, who we'll explain who he is in a second, that Jed Elliot is back in town, and that maybe it would be nice for us to meet up. So the moment I got off the phone from Sam, I was on the phone to Jed saying, hi Jed, you're back. Can we go for a drink? I went for lunch with Jed. I had a lovely time chatting to him. And it was and I'll explain to you who Jed is. Do you know who Jed Elliot is? Is this a name that's even moderately familiar to you?
We have mentioned him on the podcast a few times before.
Excellent.
The guy from the Struts.
Guy from the Struts. He's the bassist from the Struts. So the story with Jed is that I met him when he was like 11 or 12, when I was like 21 or whatever it was. And I was obviously doing gigs, and he was in a band, and they were like, oh, can we play for you? And obviously, of course you can. They were pop punk bands, and they were really ropey, proper just teenage kids being teenagers. And every band that they were in, Sam and Jed and the various members, I kept giving them their first gigs as their new band as they progressed. And over the time, they had some nearly success with getting signed and getting big and all the rest of it. And eventually that all went by the wayside. But Jed got picked up by the Struts management to go play bass in their band, which he accepted. And he become this internationally famous globe-trotting musician who tours America, Japan, Australia, Europe. They opened for the Foo Fighters. Dave Grohl loves the band. It's the best support band for the Foo Fighters, etc., etc. And Jed has just grown from this teenager who just wanted to perform, wanted to play live, to realizing that dream. And I'm so proud of him. It's such an amazing thing to see. It's so exciting. I'm so excited for him. And he's back in Devizes at the moment because he lives in America, and America have basically kicked out all their foreign nationals. But if you don't have a permanent visa, home you go. So he had to come home.
So you have picked a song from the Struts, which I'm assuming this is their latest one, called Strange Days.
Yes, Strange Days.
Which when I listened to it on the audio, I thought, God, this guy really sounds like Robbie Williams. And that was before I read the title that says featuring Robbie Williams.
Robbie Williams is besotted with Luke from the Struts. He thinks he's Freddie Mercury reborn, like reincarnated. So he's an absolute showman, and Robbie really wanted to do the song with them. So they wrote a song, wrote Robbie a lyric, or sent Robbie the song. Robbie sang his verses with it. And they did the song together, and they did a shot of video together, which is really, really cool. And I don't know if you watched it, but on ITV on Sunday, there was the Live Aid, the football tournament where they get like C-list celebrities to play football and they raise money for charity. Right at the end of that, the Struts got to play with a hologram of Robbie Williams.
Wow. That is incredible, isn't it? No, I have not heard or seen that at all.
It's the most bizarrest thing that this technology exists and things like this can happen. And it's just really weird for me to have that direct link to that part of the industry. You know what I mean? It's a bizarre and amazing and wonderful. And I absolutely love Jed to bits. He's just a wonderful guy. We've picked Strange Days. It's a song about strange days that we're living in. So technically it's a lockdown song.
So how am I supposed to clear the rights to this song on YouTube?
Well, I think, to be fair, I think both are going to be difficult.
Now, don't forget, if you do want to get your track featured or want to get in touch with us, the best way of doing that is through email, which is sheerisolation@gmail.com. Kieran is keeping a keen eye on that inbox. We're getting some nice tracks coming into there every week, so we will be featuring those over the coming months. So, Kieran, that we will call that a wrap. So thank you for joining me this week. Thank you for listening, everybody. As ever, we do appreciate your, I was going to say custom, not that you pay for it, but your commitment to listening to us and to supporting the local music scene.
And we hope we've raised a few smiles today and had a little chuckle and you've enjoyed the music. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, that is why we do it, yeah. For the music and for the giggles.
The giggles.
And to keep me entertained, because otherwise I would be going completely loopy.
Stir crazy. Yeah, me too.
And it gives you a chance to get away from your family, so it works on both levels.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Kieran, I will leave you be because I know there is a birthday party going on downstairs and I'm sure you are desired to be there.
Maybe, I don't know. Brilliant. Cheers, John, mate.
All right, cheers for that, mate.
Talk to you soon. Take care, bud. Bye.
Bye-bye.